We are back with another math lesson. So today we are actually starting a new topic, and this topic is about solving time, capacity, and mass problems. So the first thing that we're going to do is start off with time. And if you can see up here in the corner, our lesson today is time to the minute. So again, like last time, I'm going to make myself smaller and put myself over here in the corner so that you can focus on the middle of the page. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is solve this solve and share. So let me go ahead and read it to you. It says Xander and his mother are flying from New York to Chicago. Their plane is scheduled to arrive at 8:47. How can you use a clock to show this time? So the first thing that we need to know is what the minute hand looks like and what the hour hand looks like. So I've zoomed you in a little bit so that we can take a look at this clock. The first thing that we have to know, besides the minute and the hour hand, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. The first thing that we have to know is that these numbers around the clock, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, those are our hour marks, but they also mean 5. So if I was to count in between here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 little marks, and then the number would be 5. So I think you probably know that already, but I just wanted to go over it. So the next thing that we need to know is that we have a minute hand, which is going to be the bigger one. And while I'm showing you examples, I'm going to keep it black. And we also have an hour hand that is the shorter hand or the shorter arrow that I am, for the examples, going to keep it red. Okay, so our problem said that the flight landed or is supposed to land at 8:47. So if you see here, I just went ahead and typed it so that we can still be zoomed in and see the clock. So the first thing that I need to know is that this number before the 2 dots here is the hour, and the other 2 numbers are the minutes. So I think you probably already know that, but just again wanted to go over it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my hour hand because I know that my hour is 8. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my hour hand. Remember, it's my smaller hand. And I'm going to have it point to 8. The next thing that I have to do is I have to draw my minute hand. So here it says 47, but I don't see the number 47 on my clock. So like I said before, these numbers here, we use them to count by 5s. So that's what I'm going to do. So my 12 is going to be 0, and then I'm going to count until I get to 45, because that's the closest 5 number to 47. So here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. I'm at 45, but my number says 47. So if you see the little notches here, those are going to equal 1. So if I have 45, I'm going to go 46, 47. And then I'm going to take my minute hand and I'm going to draw it so that it says 47. So now my clock here says 8:47. All right, so I just wanted to go ahead and put the numbers around here so you can see what I'm talking about. So like I said, each number that's out here is equal to 5 minutes. And each little thing in the in between them, every little dash, is equal to 1 minute. So, like I had here, I did my hour first. I saw that I had 8, so I took my hour hand, the smaller one, and I drew it pointing to the 8. And then I saw that I had 47. I knew in my mind that 45 was the closest 5 number to 47. So I went to 45, and then I counted by 1s to get to 47. So you see here I had 45, 46, 47. So I went ahead and took my minute hand and drew it to the 47. So now this clock, like I said before, says 8:47. All right, so I wanted to do 2 more examples for you that will help you on the quick check. So the first example that we're going to do, our directions want us to write the time shown on each clock at least 2 different ways. I'm going to show you 3 different ways so that you can have your choice of however you would like to do it when you get to the quick check. So the first way is super simple. We're just going to do the opposite of what we did in the solve and share. So in the solve and share, it gave us a time and wanted us to put it on the clock. Now we have the time on the clock and it wants us to tell us what time it is. So the first thing that I'm going to do is look at my hour hand, which here is blue. It is the smaller one. So I'm going to see that it's pointing to 11. So I'm going to go ahead and type that it's 11. I'm going to put my 2 dots. Then I'm going to look at my minute hand. I am remembering that each of these are worth 5. So what I'm going to do, it looks to me like this minute hand is pointing directly at the 4. So I know that I don't have to count any ones. I'm just going to count 5. So it's 5, 10, 15, 20. So I have my time here. It is 11:20. All right, so that is the first way that we can write what time it is from this clock. The second way we're going to do is we're going to say that it's 20 minutes past 11. So it's just saying that we were at 11 o'clock and we went 20 minutes past it. So that's the second way that you can write a time. I'm going to show you this again in another example just to re-go over it. Okay, so there's one more way. So the third way that we can write this time, what it wants us to do is count how much time is left until the next hour. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So we can say that it's 40 minutes until 12, because 12 is the next hour. So actually, instead of writing until, I'm going to write the word to. So I'm going to say it's 40 minutes to 12. So there will be 40 more minutes until it gets to the hour 12 o'clock. All right, so now I'm going to look at number 6, and that is going to be the next example that we do. As you can see, this clock looks different. So if you have a clock that looks like number 5, that is going to be called an analog clock. And this number 6, this is called a digital clock. So if you have a digital clock that already tells you what time it is in numbers, the first example that we did here where it said 11:20, we don't have to do because it already tells us. So the first way that we are going to do is right here, and we're going to see how many minutes past the hour it is. So here I'm looking at my minutes, so I know I have 39 minutes. And I'm going to say past, and whatever the hour is what I'm going to put. So that would be 7. So this clock says 39 minutes, which is right here, past 7. So the next part that we're doing, we need to say how many minutes until or to it gets to the next hour, which if we have 7, it would be 8. I need to get to 60 minutes here on my minute side of the clock. So I know that if I add 1 to 39, that gives me 40, and I know to get from 40 to 60 is 20. So I'm going to have 21 minutes to 8 because 7, the next hour, is 8. All right, so we're going to do one more quick example for you on this analog clock. Let's see. Oh, you could still see it if I go like that. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm checking out my hour hand, and that is going to be my shorter hand, my blue hand here. So if I see that it's in between one, I'm going to go with the lower one. So this one is going to say 8. Then I'm going to check out my minute hand. I'm going to count by 5s until I get to the closest one. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And I'm going to count because it doesn't, by ones, because it doesn't seem to be exactly on the 5. So I have 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. So it looks like my time here on this clock is 8:44. The next one I'm going to do is how many minutes past the hour. So this one's very simple. I'm just going to look at my time, and I'm going to say that it's 44 minutes past 8. And then I have to do my how many minutes to the next hour. So my next hour would be 9. So I have 44, so I'm just going to go 40. I'm going to go 1, and then I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, so that's, and I'm going to add my 1 that I did, so I'm going to say there's 16 minutes to 9. All right, so I hope that made sense to you. Again, if it's not easy to follow, please let me know. I would love some feedback because I can see that we're getting good grades on our quick check, so I'm hoping that it's these lessons are doing its job. So let me know if you need anything, and I'll see you next time. Bye.